For over 2 decades, we focused on one philosophy, the 10 life values, a system that helps us examine our lives, our vision, our leadership. Our products and our services are exclusively for men, all men. The ones who teach and mentor our kids, maintain our livestock and grow our food, make and repair our products, saves us from catastrophe, and protect our nation. The 10 life values are woven into every product and service we create. Because at the end of the day, our vision is to see all men from every community equipped with the appropriate processes and the necessary tools to be excellent fathers and the best version of themselves they can be.
What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on SheepStaysLeepTV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform. Much love, much love. Salute to everybody that's in the building right now. Salute, salute, salute. Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. Salute to the A-Game Nation. Shout out to all of my visionaries that's out there, man. Welcome back to another episode on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I'm your host, DS1 Ross, and I appreciate all the love and the support. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way in. Make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button on the way in the building. Go ahead and hit that like button for me, family. After that, make sure y'all share today's show. Make sure y'all share today's show because we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it today. So let's get over here to the chat room and give some shout outs. Before we start today's show, shout out to Shango Zulu in the building. Salute, family. Salute, salute. Shout out to my brother, Walt Diddy in the building. Salute, salute, my brother. A-Game Nation in the building. Shout out to Sir O. Shout out to Sir O. Salute to the villains. Shout out to the villains. Shout out to my man Zeus in the building. Salute. Shout out to my brother Larry Vaughn in the building. Salute. Shout out to my man Hannibal. What's good, Hannibal? Salute, fam. Shout out to Miss Angie in the building. What's going on, Miss Angie? Thanks for tuning in and holding it down. Shout out to Rod Mack. What's good, Rod Mack? Salute, salute. Shout out to Miss Queena in the building. Salute. Appreciate you always coming through and holding it down. Shout out to you, Miss Queena. See who else up in the building. Jeff Reviews. What's up, cuzzo? What's up, cuzzo? What's good? Make sure y'all like and share the show, man. Shout out to Fierce Soul in the building. Salute, salute. Shout out to everybody, man. I see y'all here. Make sure y'all like the show. Make sure y'all share the show. And also make sure y'all check out my pre-recorded show. Today's pre-record ties directly into today's show. It ties directly into today's show. So make sure y'all go and catch that. Make sure y'all go and catch that after this show. Go over and check it out. Today's show. Traditional men of today will suffer like the men of yesterday. Yes. We're going to talk about this today because it seems like a lot of brothers are getting caught up in this whole traditional, modern day, type of fiasco. It seems like we're getting caught up in that. And I want to touch on that today because I need brothers to understand not only what we're dealing with, but we got to understand as men that we have to learn how to adapt also. And we're going to talk about this because at the end of the day, what we got to understand is we can't fight the inevitable. And we're going to get into that. So shout out to y'all. Salute to everybody that's in the building. Once again, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Where Me. What's going on, Where? What's going on? Okay, let me go ahead and get this person out of here real quick. Just get rid of that person real quick. Okay. Traditional men of today will suffer like the men of yesterday. A lot of us brothers today are having the conversation of modern women versus traditional women, the things that were allowed in the traditional family and the traditional household, and things of that such. And I don't really mind having those conversations, but I think what tends to happen a lot of times is we get caught up in conversations that we get caught up in just having the conversation and not really applying the proper know-how to basically get what we want done. Because see, as men, as traditional men, right? As traditional men, a lot of traditional men didn't understand that our nature consisted of 4 aspects, 4 elements, 4 P's. And see, this is why we're having the traditional conversation, because what we hear a lot is men are supposed to protect and provide, protect and provide, protect and provide. We need men to protect and provide, protect and provide. So a lot of us brothers grew up thinking that that's all they had to do. Protect and provide, protect and provide, protect and provide. But what happens when you forget 2 more parts of yourself? What happens when you neglect 2 other parts of your nature? You see? And this is important because when you neglect other parts that are just as important as the parts that you are addressing, what happens is you create a dysfunction in yourself. You see, we was taught all traditional men got to do is protect and provide. This is why you hear most black men, this is what they speak on. But you don't hear black men speaking on being problem solvers. And you never really hear them discuss the importance of procreation. We always hear we have children, but you don't hear black men speak on the importance of having them. You don't hear a lot of black men speak on their children actually being planned. It's like we just have children. You see? And this happens because of what? We're taught that we're only to protect and provide. We're not taught the aspect of procreation and the importance of it. See, because when you understand the importance of procreation, then you must understand the importance of problem solving as a man. You see? And if you go back, a lot of our traditional men in the family, they didn't solve a lot of the family problems. What they focused on was protect, provide, protect, provide. I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna make sure these bills are paid. I'm gonna make sure y'all can eat. I'm gonna make sure you got food on the table. I'm gonna make sure you got clothes on your back. And I'm gonna try my best to make sure this family is safe. You see, this is how the average black boy grew up. And this is whether you grew up with a father or whether you didn't grow up with a father. Because a lot of our dads, all they know is protect and provide. They don't know about problem solving and procreation. This is why a lot of black men, when we get older, we have to learn basic stuff at an older age. It is because of those two areas not being tended to in our life. And it is because we come from men who didn't tend to those areas. You see? A lot of us come from those traditional men who just went out and work. They worked themselves till they got sick. They worked themselves till they became disabled. Because all they thought about was protecting and providing. So you know what was affected because of that? Their health. This is what happens to a lot of us brothers. This is what happened to a lot of us in the yesteryears. You see? This is what happens to us. And it's not me saying you shouldn't adopt traditional values. No, do what works for you, but understand that the environment is not the same. You see? So even if you are a traditional guy, you still are going to have to adapt. Because the woman that you're going to be with, even if she has some traditional values, she's still going to have some of your modern day things that these women deal with. So yeah, she may believe in certain things traditionally that a man should do and she allows a man to do, but she still might want to get her a little stripper pole in her room. You see what I'm saying? She still might watch a little ratchet TV every once in a while. You see, that's just what the environment is. That's just what we're dealing with today, brothers. We are not in a place in our environment today where being fully traditional men is going to work for us. That is actually the thing that's driving a lot of us brothers crazy. It is because we don't want to accept what is going on and what has happened to us environmentally. You see? The laws have changed. The laws have changed. Things have gotten lenient for women. Women are allowed to do more, to express themselves differently. See, they have a lot more freedoms now. So guess what? Women are going to naturally, because of the environment, right, which was affected by the culture, right? That is why now you are going to have more of independent women. You're going to have more women with that mindset. They're going to have their own money. They're going to come to the table with their own money. And if they don't have their own money, they can always get their own money. Brothers, we have to accept this. Women are not going to just sit around and allow us to just shift and move them how they used to allow men to do shit. It's not like that anymore, fellas. It's not like that anymore. And we have to accept this. We have to accept it. Is it right? No. In most cases, no, because they use a lot of this shit against us. So I'm not saying it's right, but guess what? It's a reality. You see? And in order to be a problem solver, you got to deal with the problem directly right then and there. You see? So in order to cut down on some of the stress, on some of the depression that a lot of brothers is dealing with, brothers got to learn, hey, listen, this is not how I wanted things to go, but I'm going to figure out how to make the best out of this shit. You see, brothers, that's what a problem solver does. He finds a way to solve the problem as efficiently as he can based on the situation and the resources he has available. You see, we could get online and argue and theorize and philosophize all we want. We could do that all we want. We could do that all day. But in the real world, nothing is changing. You see? Nothing is changing. We're at that point in this space. This is why a lot of brothers are upset. This is why a lot of brothers are sad. And I get it. But I spoke on this. I said at the end of 2020, I said coming up in the year 2021, that is the year of reveal. That is the year of understanding. We will understand. We will see. It will be put on front stage on what all of this is about in this space. And that is where we at now. That is where we are. It's time to deal with real life. We could be mad all we want. That hasn't changed anything. And as you can see, with the new push of all of these women popping up, that shows and proves what? That nothing was done in real time. And you know why nothing was done? Because brothers didn't know what to do. Brothers didn't know what to do. See? Because they don't understand that it starts with us and what we value. They don't understand this. Brothers didn't understand this. They didn't understand that value and brotherhood and us building with each other would have stopped all of this shit. You see, that is the purpose of taking some of the traditional things, the men of yesteryears. Take what they did that worked. See, what a lot of us are not doing is we're not taking the things from the traditional men that were successful. We're not taking those things. We're just inheriting the negative effects, like the health problems. If you notice, black men are dying earlier and earlier from health complications, especially since the pandemic. The life expectancy rate for black men dropped 3 more years. Black men are dying younger and younger now, not even just from being murdered, but from health conditions, poor health conditions. Because the levels of depression and stress, which leads to poor eating habits. This is what happened to the traditional men of yesterday. They were dying young, dropping dead, heart attacks, strokes. It's happening now. Except we're dying at 35, 45, 55. There's a lot of black men dying before retirement age now. And it's because we're not understanding how to adapt. I'm not saying turn into some clown dude that don't have any morals and no standards. But you have to understand what is going on in your environment. See, understand, for the most part, our women are not traditional anymore. They're modern. The majority of our women are modern day women. For the most part. Because women follow society. They're going to follow society. They're going to follow the shot callers. And they've been allowed to call their own shots now. They have been allowed to do certain things on their own. See, so while we sitting around getting online and arguing with women on why they should allow us to do something, they don't have to. They don't have to allow it. They don't have to. They can legally do it. Shout out to Shango Zulu. Appreciate you, fam. Shout out to the Crimson Cure. Appreciate you, love. Shout out to Tosh Crazyish. Appreciate you, mamas. Shout out to you. I appreciate the super sticker. See? And a lot of us, what we want to do is we think we can argue something for it to change. No. They can now go and make their own money. They can do that now. Now it's up to you to vet the proper women with the proper value system that's going to work for you. You see? See, this is what I want brothers to understand. I want brothers to understand that this shit is not going to change for you because it's affecting us. It's not just going to change. You see? And other groups of men are having this problem with their women too. It's not just black women. Why do you think you have other men's rights groups? Because they're having a issue with this stuff too. But the reason why the other groups of those men are able to deal with it in a better way is because what they're learning to do is they're finding ways to adapt, not submit, but to adapt to the environment. You see? Because how are you gonna properly solve a problem if you can't deal with the resources that's at your fingertips? How are you gonna solve a problem? What are we gonna do? You see? If black men don't understand that as a man, we create culture, then we don't understand that it's our job to change it. So while we sitting around getting mad, driving ourselves crazy, driving ourselves to the mental institutions, driving ourselves to the hospital so we could get put on all of these blood pressure medications and diabetes medication and all of this stuff because we mad at the fact that what? We mad at the fact that what? Think about that, brothers. Shout out to Miss Angie. Appreciate you. Much love. Think about that. Think about that. See, because if you don't begin to think about it, guess what? all it's just a bunch of this. And see, I'm tired of us as a collective of men looking like a bunch of this. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. See, what we can learn from the traditional men is how to work together as men. You see, brothers, see, listen, You're not going to change anything in this world as a rugged individual. Rugged individuals are competing against the world. You're never going to change anything competing against the world by yourself. But if we understand the concept of agency, something that the traditional men understood. See, this is why, even though they suffered the way that they suffered, they left the legacy that they left. You see? They left the legacy that they left because they understood the concept of agency. They understood that. They understood the concept of working together, cooperation, cooperation over competition. You see? Because the world, that's not how the world works. Everybody as individuals trying to compete with the world. You're silly doing that. Politics doesn't work on a rugged individual level. So we'll never get nothing changed. We'll never get nothing done. But as we can see today, we're suffering. We have took the sufferings from the men of yesteryears. Dying on a job, dying at an early age due to poor health conditions. We're going through these same issues today. Why? Because this is what we haven't done. Because this is what the men, the great traditional men of yesterday didn't do. They didn't put value on themselves internally. You see? See, what they focused on was doing everything external. Everything was external. They loved their family. Of course, they worked for their family. But what those men didn't understand, just like a lot of us don't understand now, is when your health is compromised, your family is affected. When your health is affected, the way that you provide, protect, procreate, and problem solve is affected. You see? There's a lot of Black men suffering with mental health conditions. I spoke about this in my premiere earlier about Kanye West. Y'all make sure y'all go and check that video out. Brothers, we have to do more than protect and provide. We have to solve the problems that not only plague in our household, but in our communities. We have to become those problem solvers again. You see? See, when you hear me say we are our own agency, that is me telling the brothers that is a solution. That is an answer to a problem that Black men have. which is the lack of representation. Which is the lack of representation. Black men always have a problem with finding someone like them in high places. So when things go wrong, we can reach out to people. See, we lack that because we lack agency. You see? So when a brother is trying to get railroaded in court, he can reach out to people. He has a network of people he can talk to. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. See, that was the reason for them creating a Black Wall Street, a Tulsa, a Rosewood. Those were a network. It was a network of men. It was a network of men. See, brothers, we need to understand that over time, we're supposed to be getting better. We're supposed to be getting better. And shout out to the bishop, because he always says this on his channel. We want to be better and not bitter. And that is what we're supposed to be doing as brothers. We're supposed to be getting better. You see, we're supposed to be elevating. See, we're not supposed to be replicating the same stuff. And that's what we're doing today. We're not using the resources like the internet and all of these other things to our advantage. We're not doing that. See, we're not doing that. We're not using the internet and podcasting and all of these things to change the culture. The culture begins to change when the conversation change. This is why I was so hell-bent on the conversation moving past women in the space. This is why. This is why you've heard other brothers in the space profess that we need to move past talking about women. Because you're not going to affect the culture if you're still speaking on the things that the culture is already producing. You're not doing anything. You're not affecting any change. The conversation must change. How do you think we had conscious rap and all of those things before? Because brothers were not afraid and they believed in themselves enough to stand on and say, listen, we headed for self-destruction. We headed for self-destruction. If we don't get off this stuff, we're headed for self-destruction. You see? And that is how they affected the culture. And then the environment changed. This is why you saw the videos, you saw the magazines and all the things that affected the environment back then. So what are we going to do now, brothers? Are we going to stay stuck in that time? Or are we going to use what's readily available now to push it forward? The marathon continues, brothers. What are we going to do to keep pushing it forward? We can't just say, oh, you know, these women got it easier now because of the internet. Why are we worrying about what they got it easy for? Why aren't we focusing on what we supposed to be doing? That's what I want to know. Shout out to Rob Mack. Appreciate you, fam. He said agency fund. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate that, Rob Mack. Cooled you indeed. 369. Appreciate you, fam. Somebody do me a favor. These weird comments coming in the chat, block those trolls. Block those trolls. Appreciate it, visionaries. Appreciate the super chats, fam. But we got to understand what it is that we need to do. But we first got to understand who we are. We're not just protectors and providers. We're problem solvers and we're procreators. You are a problem solver. As a man, we must solve problems. So why are we dying earlier? Why are we dying earlier now? Because we're not learning from our mistakes from those traditional men. We're not upgrading the system. See, we're not upgrading the system. What system is that? Your internal system. Your internal system, your health. This is why health is important. And what are Black men suffering from the most now? Mental health issues. Health. The same thing a lot of our brothers from the yesteryears were suffering from. A lot of our great-great-grandfathers. That's where you get the diabetes that run in your family, the hypertension that run in your family, the obesity that runs in your family. You see? Because we was just stuck on going to work, making sure them bills paid. That put our health in jeopardy. And then once Papa got sick, there goes the family. Because when you're providing or when you're talking about provision, you're not just speaking on you buying the groceries and paying the bills, but you are also the direction. You're the guider. You're the leader. See, that's part of your provision also. But your provision is affected when your health is affected. You see? You see? A lot of brothers took on a lot of the traditional things of saying, well, hey, as long as I got money, I can have as much children as I want. That's wrong. Because when you have a child, you don't just provide for them in a tangible way. You have to protect them. You also have to problem solve for all those children. You see? You see? And with all the new laws and all of the things with child support and all of these things dealing with the family issues, it will be smart for us brothers to be careful or to cherish our procreating. Be careful who we procreating with. Don't just be having children with all the chicks in the goddamn apartment complex and all of that type of stuff like our great grandfathers and elder uncles used to do. See, we not in a time where we could do that no more. Because see, them women back then, they'll just come to your grandfather's house and introduce herself to your grandmama and say, yeah, you see this boy right here? This is Earl's son. And then your grandmama will let that woman in the house. And those women will talk and come to an agreement. See, that's why a lot of those men back then wasn't on no child support, because the environment was different. The environment was different. See? So it doesn't pay, right? And when I say pay, I'm talking about toll. The toll is much higher now for you to run around and do that. See? So, brothers, we got to understand what we're dealing with so we can know how to properly solve our problem. See, the environment has changed. So there is no more, I could just do what I want, and as long as I give up this little bit of money, I'm good. No. And listen, brothers, I don't care if that's how you want it to be. This is the problem that's been created online, where it has pacified a lot of brothers, where they think because you're online that what you saying actually means something in real life. When you come to Sheep Stay Sleep TV, I want you to get out of the cyber way of looking at life. See, YouTube is just a platform for me to make my brothers aware of things. But I'm making you aware of reality. I'm not making you aware of some cyber shit that I want you to believe so you could donate to me. But we know in real life, none of that shit is applicable. None of it. It's internet jargon. See, this is why I'm talking about this today. Shout out to my brother Larry Vaughn. He said, keep cooking, brother. Food for the soul. Appreciate you, bro. See, a lot of these dudes, they like to come on the internet and have and see who could say the most cutest things to each other. That's not changing nothing outside your door. That's not teaching and alerting men on what they really are dealing with or are going to deal with or what their sons are going to be dealing with. My oldest son just was telling me last night that he hopes that he get with a woman who never treats him the way some of these chicks are treating their men. Because, of course, my son is on social media. Of course, he's on YouTube. He sees all of these things. He like, yo, He like, yo, dad, I hope I don't have to go through this. I said, no, you don't have to. You just have to be careful on how you pick. And what I told him that was the most vital thing is, I said, son, choose yourself first. Choose yourself first. Don't never think that your woman is supposed to validate you. No. Understand that. See, this is why I say what I say on this channel. Because I'm not here to coat the ears of the internet kid. You know, the kid or the man who afraid to go outside and live life. Half these guys haven't lived life yet. To be sitting online arguing about theories. See, that is driving men crazy. Sitting on the internet all day trying to prove themselves right about some shit that when they go out and try to put it in the world, it's fluff. It comes back as nothing. And this is why you have the incel rage and all of these popped up incidents, because these men don't want to accept what it is currently. See, you got to accept what things are, not what you want it to be. See, because a lot of this blame, shame, and explain stuff is dudes arguing about what they want it to be. Okay, if what you want it to be sounds like it may work, that's cool, but that's not what it is. See, we got to deal with what is, not what we want it to be. What is. We work toward making things into what we want them to be. That is the reason for opposing environment. That is what your masculinity is for. It is to help you push toward the things that you do want. But you still cannot be ignorant to what is. To what is. And a lot of these men on here want you to be lofty. See, that is what black men has been using this stuff for. And I want us to get away from that. No, we should be using these platforms to have concrete conversations, not no lofty shit. Not no, if this world were mine. Not no shit like that. I would place at your feet all that I own. Not that shit. Not that, okay? Not that. Not that. We're not talking about that. Okay? We have to deal with what is. So we do not continue to make the mistakes. We can have, and we can have the traditional values. We can share some of the same traditional things and how we want a family to be. We can. But we have to understand it's not going to be the way it was because the environment has changed. They've created laws and rigged the goddamn whole family court system to destroy the nuclear family. So as men today, how can you think that you're going to live in a traditional family and have those and uphold all those same values. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen, fellas. We just have to face that shit. You got iPads in your house, bro. How traditional are you going to be? You got iPhones. You got Alexa. You got Siri. You got Bluetooth everything. How traditional do you think you're going to be when society has moved away from that stuff? Your environment has moved away from it. You see? I'm not sitting here saying adapt the lost value system. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But we have to understand what we're dealing with. You see? We cannot keep just complaining and saying why things won't change. But we still talking about the same shit. You see? See, because let me just go ahead and say it. I'm going to just come out and say it. Because a lot of you dudes don't want to say it. I'm going to come out and say it. A lot of you brothers, y'all don't want shit to change. Y'all want women to change. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want these women to look at what they have available to them in society and throw that away and say, I'm going to take what you got. That's what y'all want. That's what y'all want. After all the years of them wanting some form of authority, you want them to give that opportunity away for them to have the chance to say, oh yeah, I'm with a dude who know how to lead. Are you serious, bro? Are you serious? See, this is what happens too. This is what has happened with a lot of brothers in these spaces. A lot of brothers have forgotten that we're talking about grown women. We're talking about adults. We're talking about adults here. You don't listen. You shouldn't have to convince an adult to make the best decision for themselves. They're going to do so. And that's whether you agree with it or not. These chicks are adults. They're grown women. You cannot force them to see what's right for them. They're adults. They're supposed to figure that out on their own, brothers. Because the women of yesteryears with the traditional men, they saw the benefit in submitting in that way. That's why they did so. That's why. Not only did the environment tell them to do that, but they saw the benefit in that. Now, with the destruction of the family, they see benefit otherwise. That's not your fault, brother. You're not less of a man because of that. So let's stop using our time and our energy and wasting it being mad on some shit that we have no control over. They're making the decision. Let them make it. Let them make it. They're adults. When they fall, they got to pick themselves back up. They got to live with the decision. You see? You see? They have to make the decision. No, they have to live with them making the decision to go rogue. That's on them, bro. Let's stop driving ourselves crazy because these women don't want a family no more. The women who don't want a family, stay away from them. See, listen, I'm a keep it all the way real. If you a man that has traditional values, right? You want a family, you believe in marriage, right? I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. If a woman don't even want to get married or don't want to eat or don't want to have children, you shouldn't even be in a relationship with her. Don't even be in a relationship with her. Don't even waste your time. See, because we're in a time now where it's that serious. We're in a time now where it's that serious. If you are a man that hold those traditional values and you find a woman that doesn't hold certain traditional values the way you do, don't even deal with her. Don't have her around you. Don't even have her around you. Don't even have sex with them. Don't even have sex with them. And the reason why I'm saying this is because of the environment and how things are against us. You see? This is the way we adapt until this shit changes again, because it's gonna change again. It's gonna change again. You see? But let's stop driving ourselves crazy, man. Let's stop driving ourselves crazy. Let's understand the importance of a vetting system. Understand this, brothers. Understand that you need a vetting process. See, because this, the lack of this leads to a lot of the problems that we hear a lot of brothers have here online. I spoke about this in the video I did about Kanye West. Make sure y'all go and check that out. I did that earlier. You see, Kanye is a traditional guy. He's a traditional dude. Why isn't he with a wholesome woman? Why is he with Kim? Kim is not wholesome. Kim is a 304. Not only is she a 304, she is the walking archetype of the modern day woman. See, brothers? You see what happens when you don't vet properly? But you're not going to vet properly when you don't have any internal value. When you don't see yourself as anything but a wallet. When you don't see yourself anything but your job, but your paycheck. You end up marrying one of these types of women. And it's going to drive you crazy. And you're going to lose everything you tried to build or have already built. And it is simply because you don't understand how to adapt. You see? I appreciate y'all for tuning into today's show. Shout out to everybody in the building. Salute to all the visionaries out there. Salute to all of y'all, man. See, what we're going to do here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV, we're going to bring you brothers back to reality, man. See, because we can't fix shit in cyber world time. We cannot fix the environment. We cannot fix the culture. The environment won't change. The culture will not change by us being online arguing ideologies. Arguing on who has the best talking point. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's not. We got to get out here and we got to show them. We got to show them. We got to show them. I appreciate y'all for tuning into today's show once again. Make sure you like, share, subscribe if you haven't yet. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to all of the visionaries, man. Shout out to all of y'all. I appreciate everyone for coming through. Make sure you like and share the video. If you have donated, I appreciate all of the donations, all of the super chats, all of the cash apps. Much love to y'all, family. I appreciate y'all once again. Shout out to the A-Game Nation for coming through and showing their support as always. DS1 Raw, Sheep Stay Sleep TV, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. But before we get up out of here, fellas, we are our own agency. Let's take that from our traditional brothers. We are our own agency. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Hey y'all, Donnie Keith here, aka Auntie Peaches from the Aunties Radio Show, also on The Voice of Reason. I'm here to say that ever since my man started taking A-game, he's been on top of his A-game. When I say A-game, I mean his A-game. He's more focused. He's definitely working out more. His attitude is better. And he's not complaining of all over body aches due to poor blood circulation, because A-game provides great blood circulation, if you know what I mean, ladies. That blood circulation. Sometimes I have to hide the A-game in the bushes when I'm out walking the dog just because I want some sleep. If you know what I mean, ladies. Stay on top of your A-game, fellas. Get your A-game.